And welcome to Interesting to See, your daily sports podcast, news, narratives, takes, gambling. I'm Nick. No opening clip today. I just don't have it in me to throw down NHL or NBA highlights this early in those seasons, if you know what I mean. I just can't bring myself to do it. I will wait till the games are a teeny tiny bit more relevant, if that's okay with you. You can watch on YouTube. You can also turn your phone sideways. And you can watch, let's turn the volume up, there we go. And you can watch on Spotify. Shouts to Spotify, you can do that as well. Okay, so today we're going to talk about Lamar Jackson and some other stuff. The NHL has responded to the Ivan Provorov. We've got some responses to some things. The NHL has responded to the Ivan Provorov thing. Remember when he refused to wear the Pride jersey because he didn't want to, because gay people are against his religion. Russia is an enormously bigoted place where they hunt gay people for fun and assault them and out them. If you think I'm joking, look it up. It's a thing that happens. Here is the quote. Hockey is for everyone is the umbrella initiative. That's not what I want. Well, let's fix this real quick. Is that what I want? Oh, no, malfunction. Come on, Streamlabs, you're better than this. Streamlabs. There it is. Let's fix it. Bam, now it's on TV. Hockey is for everyone is the umbrella initiative under which the league encourages clubs to celebrate the diversity that exists in their respective markets and to achieve more welcoming and inclusive environments for all fans. Not a great sentence. We'll work on that. Clubs decide whom to celebrate, when, and how. The league council, with league council in support, players are free to decide which initiatives to support, and we continue to encourage their voices and perspectives on social and cultural issues. So the real question is just really how Philadelphia is going to feel about this. They play tonight at home against the Blackhawks, and so we shall see. So that's where that situation stands. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure how Philly is going to respond. I have lived in Philadelphia for a time, and I'll be honest, I think it could go either way. I think that there is a huge chance that no one will care, but I also think that there's a pretty big chance that they'll care a lot and he'll get booed and people are going to be talking about him and they'll hate him and they'll want him traded. And that market is absolutely powerful enough to pull shit like that off, no question. Other news from yesterday, Rob Gronkowski has something interesting to see. Actually, you know what? Let's go to Brandon Staley, who in his press conference, I don't know if this was after the game or if it was his Monday or it was like his end of the season press conference, but he was asked if he was out-coached by Doug Peterson in his playoff loss, the 27-point comeback where the Jags scored, I want to get this right, 31 points while the Chargers scored 3 in the final about 35 minutes of the game. So he was asked, did Doug Peterson out-coach you? And this is what he said.
Oh, Bill, I thought it was a tight game. I thought that for a half, I wouldn't say that was the case for a half.
I wouldn't say that he outcoached me for a half. Yeah, you called the play where they punted off their own helmet, for sure. Also, football is not played for 30 minutes. It's played for 60. That's he just is. This guy with the quotes and the bullshit, he sucks. He should be fired. But they're not going to fire him. The reports are they're going to stick with him. They did fire their offensive coordinator, Joe Lombardi, who was the offensive coordinator for the Lions when they had Matthew Stafford, Hall of Famer Calvin Johnson, Golden Tate, Reggie Bush, and some offensive linemen, and they failed to win the division. Joe Lombardi was a disaster there. He then went to New Orleans, where Sean Peyton made him the quote-unquote offensive coordinator, which is not a real thing. He's the offensive coordinator. And so now he's with the Chargers with Justin Herbert and Mike Williams and Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler and those guys. And I have been saying this on Twitter for a while. Don't follow me. I'm a terrible follow. Joe Lombardi is the problem with racial diversity in the NFL. Head coaching hires are a very finicky thing, and I think a lot of black men don't get opportunities that perhaps they should at the head coaching ranks, but it's most important is that the funnel is full with a diverse group of people. Joe Lombardi should not be on his third offensive coordinator stint. He sucks ass at it. He's now wasted Hall of Fame players in their prime. Matthew Stafford won a Super Bowl for the Rams. Joe Lombardi had him with Calvin Johnson. Cooper Kupp is fine. He's not Calvin Johnson, and the Lions couldn't score points. So, yeah, this guy being hired and fucking around in L.A. with Brandon Staley for 2 years, and now he saves his job by firing. Oh, the offensive coordinator's problem. Well, Brando, you hired that dude. So we're looking at Rob Gronkowski on your screen. He did an interview yesterday. So we're in the portion of the NFL calendar where people are going to kind of air their dirty laundry a little bit. And in college, there's going to be recruiting news and whatever, transfers. And we'll kind of pay attention to that, but not really. I don't do recruiting and transfer window stuff. That's just not, it's just a little much for me. But Rob Gronkowski went on a podcast to kind of ask if he was done, and Aaron Rodgers, he responded to Aaron Rodgers' statement. Aaron Rodgers said, let's see, do I think I can still play? Of course. I can play at a high level, the highest. I think I can win MVP again in the right situation. Is the right situation Green Bay or somewhere else? Blah, blah, blah. And Rob Gronkowski was like, that's a weird thing to say. You think you can win MVP again? He's got a good point.
I'm totally fine with everything he said, except one major part, and that's the MVP again. It's just that I think I could win another Super Bowl, and then that would have been totally fine.
So Rob Gronkowski is not the most eloquent, well-spoken, or like highly intelligent individual, and he's just such a happy-go-lucky guy. But what an observant moment for him, and what he's saying is essentially, Aaron Rodgers said, "I can win things again." Not like I think that we can win things again. I mean, like. Rob Gronkowski picked out immediately, oh, this guy's about himself.
That's the MVP again. It's just that I think I could win another Super Bowl, and then that would have been totally fine. Like, bro, like, why are you thinking MVP? Like, don't you want Super Bowls? Like, Super Bowls are I think 5 times greater than an MVP award. Like, we all know that you won the MVP a few times now, but like, you know, everyone would know even more how many more Super Bowls you've won than MVP.
Correct. Rodgers has won Super Bowl. 3 MVPs, I believe, including back-to-back. I think I could win MVP again. Maybe what Rodgers is trying to say is I think I can be the best player in the league again. That's how well I feel right now. But what everyone hears is like, oh, this is annoying. Had a basketball game last night between a couple people. So the one on your screen right here, Arkansas and Missouri. And gross. I mean, apparently people were complaining about the refs. There were like 52 fouls or something in the game, which is, if you do the math, there's 5 starters. Each starter has 5 fouls to give, and you get some guys off the bench. If each starter had 5 fouls, that's 50 fouls. That's everybody who starts would have fouled out, and there still would have been more fouls, which obviously is not how basketball works. I don't know who won the game. I'm just telling you what people were talking about. Kansas also. So I'll play this clip. You can hear Missouri fans in their game with Arkansas chanting how much they hate Kansas. So Missouri and Kansas and Arkansas, they all kind of border each other a little bit. There's a section of Arkansas and Missouri where it all happens over there. I guess it's the southwest corner of Missouri, the northwest, Fayetteville part of Arkansas, and then Kansas and the eastern part of Kansas is where most of the people live. So you can hear it there during the game. You can hear it. Fuck KU. Fuck KU. Fuck KU. That's the Missouri people getting mad at Kansas. So, like, the rivalry's been pretty serious, especially in the last couple of years with Kansas having a good football team and Missouri's football team falling off the face of the earth. They did have a moment about 10 years ago that was pretty fun. So they're just mad at Kansas, which that is the definition of rent-free in someone's head. I wanted to bring this up. Stan Van Gundy and Kevin Durant had an interesting exchange on Twitter, which I can't get enough of. It is just... It's just too funny. So Stan Van Gundy is a former basketball coach, and he does commentary work now. I think he was a GM for the Pistons as well. So here he is. On Twitter, he says, here's the tweet. 90s NBA teams had just a trainer and a strength coach. They practiced more often and harder and played more back-to-backs. Teams now have huge medical and performance staffs and value rest over practice, yet injuries and games missed are way up. Something's not working. Kevin Durant responded with Stan spittin'. And what that means, for those of you that don't speak 25 to 40-year-old, what that means is that, like, this is good. You know, when someone tells you you're spitting, that means you're spitting facts. Like, you're on your game. You know what the fuck you're talking about. You're making a good point. Stan didn't know that because he's like 1,000 years old. He's not 1,000 years old. If I had to guess, he's like 65, 75, somewhere in there. No, I'm not criticizing players. I'm saying that we are getting something wrong in how we prepare and train players. We can't do anything about injuries like yours. He fell on your leg. But all these groin, hamstring, injuries, etc. shouldn't be happening as much as they are. That's how he responded to Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant said, oh, wait, I want to find the picture. I don't understand how Instagram for desktop works. Kevin Durant said, Stan, I'm agreeing with you. Pull up. Yes, there he is. Stan, I agree with you, LOL. And then Felipe responds, spitting means you're speaking facts, Stan. And Stan says, I had no idea. Little interactions like that I love that kind of stuff. We've got some other responses. Remember when we all made fun of Tim Brewster for making the Colorado guys sit up and stand and say shit, and we comment and all that kind of stuff, and Danny Cannell was like, this is why college coaches don't work in the NFL. And Tim Brewster said, hey, Danny, I coached 5 years in the NFL and would like to think was very successful. Ask Antonio Gates. Like, boo. As a head coach in college, I don't know who he coached, but he was 15-30, which mathematically is pretty bad. But also, I can't believe I'm defending Danny Cannell here, but Tim Brewster, Antonio Gates has been out of the league for like a while, and that's fun, but it sounds a lot like you're taking credit for Antonio Gates' career. And now you're in Colorado. Why aren't you in the league now? Nobody wants to be in college over the NFL. It's way less work for the entire, like, you got to be a college coach 24/7. You can have an off-season in the NFL. Huh. It's talking a lot of shit for a guy that's bouncing around and bouncing around and bouncing around. No, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure everything there is fine. The NFL announced the international teams yesterday. Teams that will for sure be playing in overseas. Bills, Titans, Jags, KC, Chiefs, and Patriots. Those are all, for those of you paying attention, AFC teams. And the interesting fun thing about those, with the exception of the Titans, LOL, and the Patriots, like most of the three of those five are playoff teams. The Patriots and the Titans were like right there. So good teams going overseas. I believe the Chiefs are going to Germany. The others are going to London or perhaps somewhere else, Mexico. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that the Chiefs are for sure going to Germany. Other news we had yesterday, the Sean Peyton coaching carousel continues. So Sean Peyton was the coach of the Saints. They won the Super Bowl. I'm just going to explain this. For those of you that are following the situation, they own his rights. When you retire, the team that you retire with still owns your rights for the most part to your contract. So he can't just go to the NFL. The Saints have to trade him. And they're like, it's going to cost at least a first-round pick. And he's been saying that, which kind of holds their feet to the fire. But they can also just be like, yeah, we're not going to fucking trade him, actually. So in addition to trading a pick for him, you're going to need to play him. The word on the street is that it's going to be minimum $20 million a year. And you'd have to trade a pick for him. And New Orleans just has it. And they don't lose by not trading him because he's not their coach now. So it's literally just win-win for them. They can hold his rights for the extension of his contract, I believe. They can just be like, yeah, actually, we don't want you to coach in the NFL, so you're not going to coach in the NFL. It can literally be that simple for them. They can just kind of hold him hostage because he retired. And that's how that goes. Shouldn't be able to retire your way out of a shitty contract, in my opinion. That's just my take on things. Yeah, yesterday, I believe, I think it's the World Face-Slapping Championships were happening. Watch this. I want you to hear this guy slap the shit out of this dude. We're going to get out of here. Listen to the smack. Slumped him. Here, we'll bring it one more time for our YouTube audience. One more time. Dude, what are we doing? Oh my goodness. Carol Baskin's husband found alive in Latin America. Go figure. If you know, you know. If you don't, Google Tiger King. All right. Back and better than ever tomorrow.